Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, you are on mute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me start our today's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam session. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha E Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. So we still continue with our third canto, chapter 26, the fundamental principles of material nature. And in that, we were going through a list of how the material nature is created. Yeah, about the yeah, the elements. What are the characteristics of those elements we discussed, and we also went quickly through the characteristics of these tanmatras and five gross elements. The sound, the ether, touch, air, form, fire, taste, water, smell, earth, and how each of them exist, how they are related. And since the cause exists in its effects as well, the characteristics of the former exist in the later. And this is what we understand from verse 47 to 49. Let me quickly. Yeah. So here, the sense whose object of perception is sound is called the auditory sense, and that whose object of perception is touch is called tactile sense. And in that way, the senses are explained. And 49 is saying that is why the peculiarities of all the senses of all the elements exist in the earth alone. Yeah. So if we see, so we see that the most subtle form is sound, and then comes the ether, which has also the characteristics of the sound, and then comes the touch, which has the characteristics of sound, ether, and then air element, which will have the characteristics of all the previous ones. In that way, the earth is the last. And since the cause exists in its effects as well, the characteristics of the former are observed in the later. So this is what it means. And here we see that, yeah, the earth has all five qualities of the elements. Water has four, fire has three, air has two, and the sky has only one quality, sound. So this is part of our understanding that we are gathering from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam about how the whole manifestation came and how each element is created. Yeah, it could be a nice science project to really come to this conclusion, which would take many lifetimes, because it's so subtle that one cannot see with eyes even the outer coverings of the creation. That's what we will also discuss little from the ongoing verses, because from the verse number 50, yeah, we are reading that when when all these elements are unmixed, when all these elements are unmixed, yeah, the Supreme Lord enters the universe along with Kala karma, and gunas. So in that way, the starting that is electrified in kind of coming into life. Yeah, this whole universe, just like someone has built a wonderful house, and but just a house with the four walls can be just a building or a construction. But when there is a housewarming ceremony, yeah, I mean, this is an example that we will also use later. Uh, all the things can also be brought inside, but unless the owner is entering the house and he starts using, then yeah, it stays just as yeah, a material thing or materially manifested. So here we see that when all the elements are unmixed. Yeah? So here, after stating the generation of the causes, Kapila Deva speaks about the generation of the effects. And he's saying that uh, at this time when the causes were unmixed, the Supreme Lord in his Garbhodakasai Vishnu entered in within each universe. So this is the moment where everything is ready, but in a way that it's not active and executing or functioning. So it's like everything is arranged for an occasion, but yeah, it didn't yet start. Mm. But as soon as yeah, when, as soon as when the we know the prominent or the distinguished chief guest when he comes, then everything starts from that moment. Yeah, before there can be so many trials, tests, and arrangements, preparations, plannings. Everything can happen at a different levels, but only after the chief guest when he comes, then the real program is starting. So similarly, the arrangement for a universe functioning is there, but just after the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu entered, then the effect, yeah, is fulfilled. Accompanying him were all of seven primary elements. What are these? The five gross elements and the total energy, Mahatattva, and the false ego. So these are the seven primary ingredients that are mentioned, seven divisions. That's how this entrance of the Supreme Lord involves his entering even the atoms of material world. So we know that the Lord is in every atom. Yeah, we have heard it, and here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, yeah, that accompanying him were all the seven primary elements. Yeah, this entrance of Supreme Lord involves his entering even the atoms of the material world. Yeah, so here we see Andantarastha Paramanu. Paramanu Chayantarastham. So here we saying Paramanu means the minutest, in infinitesimal. Mm. So he is not only within the universe but within the atoms also. He is within the heart of every living entity. Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead, entered into everything. And what happened afterwards? Huh? Here we see that from these seven principles rose into activity and united by the presence of the Lord, uh, an unintelligent egg arose, from which appeared the celebrated cosmic being. So we are talking about the Virat form of the Lord, and mm, here we are seeing that um, this we are talking about anda. Anda means egg, and what is it made of? This egg. This will also be further explained. Here we see that uh, unintelligent an unintelligent egg arose, uh, which means the egg in itself is just a shell. The egg in itself is a shell with all ingredients, everything, but it doesn't has the life. It doesn't has the intelligence. So this is what it means. From these seven principles rose into activity and united by the presence of the Lord. When the Lord entered, then from which appeared the celebrated cosmic being. Yeah. So here. Yeah, Prabhupada is giving us how how a creation or a procreation or production takes place. Yeah, so in sex life, the combination of matter from the parents creates the situation whereby a soul is received within the matter, and the combination of matter gradually develops into a complete body. The same principle exists in the universal creation. Huh? So the ingredients are present, but only when the Lord enters into the material elements is the matter actually agitated. Hmm? So, and that is what we are saying, it's life. What is that differentiating factor between matter and life? It is that when there is no life, when there is no this living energy inside, or living spirit inside this matter, then it can't move, it can't do anything. Yeah. So that is a cause of creation. We see this in our ordinary experience. Although we may have clay, water, and fire, uh, we know how bricks are made. Uh, the bricks are made by taking the clay and mixing with the water, heating it up. I mean, making the cakes and heating them up for very, very long time. And in that way, the bricks are formed. Hmm. When this is the labor or the energy, the living energy that is brought in connection to the ingredients. Without the living energy, there is no possibility that matter can take shape. Similarly, this material world does not develop unless agitated by the Supreme Lord as the Virata Roop. Yasyad udatistad asau Virat. By his agitation, space was created and the universal form of the Lord also manifested therein. So thereafter, it says this universal egg or the universe in the shape of an egg is called manifestation of material energy. So it's all kinds of energies. Yeah, there is this Lord Supreme Energy. There is also his yeah. Um, what is that? Manifestation. The energy of manifesting is also there, and um, especially when it comes to the material creation, there is material energy. Mm. It's layers of water, air, fire, sky, ego, all. Yeah. So, and Mahatattva increase in thickness one after the another. Each layer is 10 times bigger than the previous one, and the final outside layer is covered by Pradhana. So, within this egg is the universal form of Lord Hari, of whose body the 14 planetary systems are parts. So, in this connection, I think I made some notes. Um, yeah, this is very important. Oh, hmm. Here, this is the planetary systems are considered to form different bodily parts of the universal form of the Lord. Yeah. So, I mean, we went through this already in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 2. Here we are hearing through Kapila Muni once again about the creation. Here we see that persons who cannot directly engage in the worship of the Lord are advised to think of and worship this universal form. What does this mean is this understanding of a universal form, this Virata Rupa or this whole universal manifestation of the Lord is only to help us that every bit of creation is Lord's creation and rests in the Lord. It's not independent. It's not like the cause and effect are different. It's not they are indifferent from the creation. Uh, so to give this understanding, but this is not the topmost understanding. The topmost understanding is that this all is created by the Lord, and of course the Lord has so many other interests, and mainly engaging in a loving relationship with his devotees, and that process is called worship. So here it says that persons who cannot directly engage in the worship of the Lord are advised to think of and worship this universal form. But people who do not appreciate that supreme position of the Lord, who may think that, who may be envious of the Lord's supreme position, or who have no knowledge about Lord is a person, Lord can be offered services for them. Hmm? Feeling great about the nature, serving the nature, serving the bodies. Yeah, so in that way, not really the persons, and in that way, and but even if they are doing that, if they are seeing that this whole creation is the Lord Himself, yeah, then that is also, yeah, authorized, but only as a secondary or a lower level of understanding. The lowest planetary systems, Patala, is considered to be the soul of the Supreme Lord, and the earth is considered to be the belly of the Lord. Brahmaloka, the highest planetary system where Brahma lives, is considered to be the head of the Lord. In that way, the Virat Purusha is considered an incarnation of the Lord. Ah, but the original form is Krishna. Yeah, here we see Virata Purusha is also Purusha, but he is not an Adi Purusha. Adi Purusha is Krishna. Here we see. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is also accepted as Adi Purusha, or the original. Krishna says, "No one is greater than me." So these are references, which means no one, including not only Virat Purush, but also the Purusha avatars. Yeah, here he says there are innumerable expansions of the Lord, and all of them are Purushas or enjoyers. But neither the Virat Purush nor the Purush avatars, yeah, nor any of many other expansions is the original. In each universe, there are Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, the Virat Purusha, and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. In each one, there are so many. The active manifestation of Virat Purusha is described here. People who are of lower grade, they may think of universal form of the Lord. For that is advised, it's okay. And then here there is explanation about how each layer is expanding and how bigger it is. These dimensions are inconceivable to the tiny brain of a human being. Yeah, that's why to take up a science project of this scale needs a different equipment, different strategies, different level of intelligence. uh, so and different way of proving and concluding hypothesis based on facts of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It is also stated that this description is of only one egg-like universe, and in that way there are so many. Hmm? And then it is considered, in fact, that this universe is the smallest. Therefore, the Lord has only 4 heads to manage. But there are universes which are even bigger and bigger, and Brahma has more heads. This we know from Brahma Vimochana Leela, pastime, when Krishna arranges that all the Brahmas come and offer um, their obeisances to the Lord in the presence of the Brahma of this universe, who has only 4 heads. But then there are so many Brahmas who flew on their swans from so many other universes who had even bigger number of heads. And yeah, Krishna, Brahma was called one day by, yeah, this is what is also mentioned here. No one can measure the length and breadth of God by speculation or by false identification with the God. These attempts are symptoms of lunacy. Lunatic means foolish in a way. Yeah, thinking perfectionly, or not practical to approach a thing in the right way. And then uh, yeah, it goes further. Yeah, so the supreme personality of Godhead, the Virat Purusha, situated himself in the golden egg which was lying on the water, and he divided it into many departments. And from here on comes the description of. So till now, yeah, this is explanation about the Karya Srishti, how the whole creation is coming into manifestation. And here now we come across um, the creation of various limbs of this Virata Purusha that will be discussed. Yeah. So, um, so first of all, a mouth appeared in him, and then came forth the organ of speech. Yeah. So, I mean, these are the details. Yeah, how each organ appeared, which is how there is this gross sense organ, which is mouth, and the subtle sense organ of that is speech. Yeah, the purpose of mouth, usually we think it's for eating. Yeah, but what is the subtle sense organ of the gross mouth is speech. With mouth, yeah, we speak. And who is the preceding deity of that is the fire god. I think there is a mention about yeah, the fire. Yeah, and in the purport, Prabhupada mentions. Oh, no, not here. Hmm. So then comes the nostrils, and the preceding deity is the wind god, eyes, and then the preceding deity is Surya, the sun god, and through which one can have the sense of sight. And then is the ears, karna, which is the subtle sense object of the sense organ is auditory senses. And the lord of that is dik devatas. Then skin, which is sense of touch. The god is the devatas of skin, herbs. Then genital, semen, deity of waters. Anus, organs of defecation. The lord preceding deity is death. And in this connection, don't know which verse it is, 57, I think. Skin, mm, throat, yeah, 57. So here, Prabhupada is speaking about that, yeah, after this, the semen, the faculty of procreation and the god who precedes over the waters appeared. So the references, I mean, Prabhupada gives references how the Ayurveda also is in line, how Ayurveda is not a science based on a research, but a science based on religion. Yeah, where everything is seen how in connection with the Lord. Yeah, so here it says that it is understood herein that the faculty to discharge semen is the cause of death. Because in the purport, I mean, in the verse it says that, and thereupon the god of death, who is feared throughout the universe, appeared. So, and Prabhupada is saying that that is the reason that so much importance given, yeah, the yogis, uh, the more one can restrain the discharge of semen, the more one can be aloof from the problems of death. Yeah, and the final, the more one is addicted to sex enjoyment, the more susceptible he is to quick death. Yeah. Um, there are the examples taken from the animal kingdom or animals to see this how it's how the lifespan is affected due to sex life. Yeah. So and in that, I mean, Prabhupada is bringing the understanding from here how important it is that one dwells more in a renounced order of life uh, to have a longer lifespan. And yeah, that is uh, in this reference. And then further about the legs, thereupon two hands of the universal form became manifested, and with them the power of grasping, dropping, and after that Lord Indra appeared. Next the legs became manifested, and with them the process of movement, and after that Lord Vishnu appeared. And in anyway, this way, and then there is this veins of universal body became manifested. Thereafter the red corpuscles or blood, in their wake came the rivers, and they appeared. And an abdomen, there is this purport. The controlling deity of rivers is also controlling deity of the nervous system. In Ayurveda treatment, Those who are suffering from diseases of nervous instability are recommended to take bath by dipping into a flowing rivers. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, because we are not able to correlate, we think that okay, why? But this is the relation. Next. Next grew feelings of hunger and taste, and in their wake came the manifestation of the oceans. So, and Prabhupada again says, people who are suffering from hunger or thirst uh, are advised by, as per Ayurveda, to take, yeah, dip in the ocean, yeah, to take bath in the ocean, to balance the irregularities in hunger and thirst. And in the wake of mind, in the wake of heart, the mind appeared. And after the mind, moon appeared. Okay, before that, this also tells us that how closely, if we are to the nature, how harmoniously we could live. The more when we are going away, yeah, so just imagine now if this is a remedy uh, in the past, yeah, I think, I don't know, one of you or Maharaj was mentioning that taking holy baths in the river was very normal practice, not like a, okay, on a one fine Kumbh Mela that people are going and dipping themselves in the rivers. No, every day, yeah, a bath was on the bathing ghats. Yeah. So there, every temples there is a small platform, and everyone used to go there, take a holy dip and come. That was not once a day, but even many times a day, whenever they want, they can, and in that way, the health, yeah, is fit. And then there is also this, yeah, there is also Vana Bhojanam in the Kartik month time, where everyone goes and eat under the trees. There is also some reason behind that, and then there is, now we see that taking a dip in the ocean. So in that way, but now where are we? Are we near to a forest? No. Are we near to a river? No. Are we near to an ocean? No. First of all, yeah, I don't even know so much of swimming that I can, yeah, do. So in that way, we have conditioned so much that it becomes like how people tend to think that where does the milk come? Milk comes from the machines, no? So, because we saw how the milking was done, and we see the photo that is on the package, we see this. Ah, okay, it's from cow, but how? No one knows. Mm. So we are going more far away, and in that way, we are attacked by the diseases because we are not living in harmony with the nature. The nature, yeah, we hear that is a natural healer. Then comes after the mind, the moon appeared, the intelligence appeared next. After intelligence, Lord Brahma appeared. Then the false ego appeared, and then Lord Shiva. And after the appearance of Lord Shiva came consciousness and the deity preceding over consciousness. So, in this way, different manifestations that appeared um, in the heart, yeah, in the heart, Hridayam. Uh, the subtle elements are mind, governed by Chandra. I think there is an explanation about the mind, about the moon. Sorry. The moon appeared after the appearance of mind, huh? And this indicates that the moon is the preceding deity of mind. Yeah, that's why we see the astrological charts are seeing how is the moon. Moon is influencing. Yeah, if one want to understand one's uh, state of mind, yeah, astrologers say it depends on the day of the yeah, day of the month. Yeah, so the on a full moon day, the state of mind is. I mean, this may not be felt so grossly, but on a subtle level, the mood swings happen based on the day. Yeah, and this is governed by the moon. Similarly, Lord Brahma appeared after intelligence, is the preceding deity of intelligence. And Lord Shiva, who appears after false ego, is the preceding deity of the false ego. In other words, it is indicated that the moon god is in the mode of goodness, whereas Lord Brahma is in the mode of passion and Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance. The appearance of consciousness after the appearance of false ego indicates that from beginning, material consciousness is under the mode of ignorance, and that one therefore has to purify himself by purifying his consciousness. Yeah? And what here we see the identification of body with the self is the false identification, what is called false ego. Uh, Lord Chaitanya confirms this in his Shikshastakam. He states the first result of chanting the Maha Mantra that will clear all this. At that point, he is actually liberated from the clutches of Maya as soon as one is freed from the clutches of false ego. His intelligence also becomes purified, and then his mind is also engaged, is always engaged upon the lotus feet of the Lord. Hmm. And here, yeah, we see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared on the full moon day as Gaurachandra, or the spotless transcendental moon. Hmm. The material moon has spots on it, but on the transcendental moon there are no spots. In order to fix the purified mind in the service of the Lord, one has to worship the spotless moon. So we should not think that okay, this is means that okay, so and so to gain so and so benefit, so and so to pacify so and so, to express gratitude to so and so. Let me start worshipping all the preceding deities. Hmm? Now, here we see that in order to fix the purified mind in the service of the Lord, one has to worship the spotless moon. One has to take direct shelter of the Lord. Those who are materially passionate or those who want to exhibit their intelligence for material advancement are generally worshippers of Lord Brahma, and persons who are in the gross ignorance of identifying with the body worship Lord Shiva. Materialists like Hiranyakashipu and Ravana are worshippers of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, but Prahlad and other devotees in the service of service of Krishna consciousness worship the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. And then from 62, the Devatas are now, now this is whole creation relations between that. And when the demigods, uh, preceding deities of various senses were thus manifested, they wanted to wake up their origin of appearance. So now, when all these facilities or divisions or material um, objects are created, mm, and the whole mm, uh, time has come that yeah, now everything can start living. Yeah, then the demigods and the preceding deities, they started waking up the Lord. But upon failing to do so, they re-entered the body of Virat Purush. So here, purport Prabhupada is mentioning that in order to wake the sleeping deity controller within, uh, which means to wake up, one has to rechannel the sense activities from concentration on the outside to concentration inside. In the following verses, the sense activities which are required to wake the Virata Purusha will be explained very nicely. What is this waking up process is to activate. Now everything is in inactivate state in the egg, but to activate, yeah, and function. These sense of deities, or sense object deities, preceding deities are praying. Mm. And how? And this is the example. The fire god entered his sense object. What is the fire god's sense object? It is mouth. So he entered into the mouth. He entered into the mouth along with organ of speech. So in that way, everything entered into, and then uh, in that way, all entered, and finally, Brahma, I think, Lord Shiva. Yeah. The ocean entered Brahma also, yeah, I think it is. Brahma also entered his heart with intelligence, but even then, cosmic being could not be prevailed upon to get up. Lord Rudra also entered his heart with the ego, but even then, cosmic being did not stir. However, however, when the inner controller, the deity presiding over consciousness, who is the deity presiding over consciousness? It is the super soul. Yeah, when entered the heart with reason, at that very moment, the cosmic being arose from the causal ocean, so causal waters. So here we see, purport. No, not this one. I read the example. I mean, when a man is sleeping, all his material assets, namely the vital energy, the senses for recording knowledge, the senses for working, these are the karmendriya and gnanendriyas, the mind and intelligence cannot arouse. He can be aroused only when the super soul helps him. I think in this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning. Uh, So the explanation of Sankhya philosophy is described here in detail in the sense that Virat Purush or the universal form is the original source of all the various sense objects or organs and their deities. The relationship between the Virat Purusha and the preceding deities or the living entities is so intricate that simply by exercising the sense organs which are related to the preceding deities, Virat Purush cannot be aroused. What is required? It's not possible to arouse the Virat Purusha or to link with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only by devotional service and detachment can one perform the process of linking with the Absolute. Now, this is the Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga, it's not just only Sankhya philosophy. It's not philosophy just to understand what is creation and how it's created. Wow, wow, wow. It's not just that. It is to understand that to come in this state of connecting to the Lord. Mm. And I mean, for that, only by devotional service and detachment can one perform this linking up with the Absolute. And then there's a conclusion. Therefore, through devotion, detachment, and advancement. So these are three things. Yeah? Devotion, detachment, and advancement. In the spiritual knowledge acquired through concentrated devotional service, one should contemplate that super soul as present in this very body, although simultaneously apart from it. What does that mean? To understand that the Lord is present doesn't mean that He is Lord belongs to Him. One can realize the super soul within oneself. He is within one's body, but apart from the body, or transcendental to the body. The Lord's body is different, our body is different. Lord is residing doesn't mean that He is also taking a material body. And usually people have this question, okay, if we say that the Lord is present in the heart, if I do a bypass, what happens? Lord is transcendental. Just like when the soul is also. Hmm. Although sitting in the same body as the individual soul, the super soul has no affection for the body, whereas the individual soul does. Therefore, one has to detach himself from this material body by discharging devotional service. It is clearly mentioned here, Bhaktya, that one has to execute devotional service to the Supreme. As it is stated in the first canto, second chapter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 127, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. When Vasudeva, the all-pervading Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is served in completely pure devotion, detachment from the material world immediately begins. The purpose of Sankhya is to detach oneself from the material contamination. This can be achieved simply by devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one is detached from the attraction of material prosperity, one can actually concentrate his mind upon the Super Soul. As long as the mind is distracted towards the material, there is no possibility of concentrating one's mind and intelligence upon the Super Soul. In other words, one cannot concentrate one's mind and energy upon the Supreme unless one is detached from the material world. From detachment from the material world, one can actually attain transcendental knowledge of absolute truth. As long as one is entangled in sense enjoyment, hmm, it is not possible to understand the absolute. One who is freed from material contamination is joyful and can enter into devotional service, and by devotional service, he can be liberated. So this is all is the Sankhya philosophy that Prabhupada is summarizing in this in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam first canto. It is stated that one becomes joyful by discharging devotional service. In that joyful attitude, one can understand the science of God or Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it's not possible. The analytical study of the elements of material nature and concentration of mind upon the super soul are the sum and substance of Sankhya philosophy. Yeah, analytical study. The perfection of this Sankhya yoga culminates in devotional service unto the absolute truth. So it's not just having the uh, um, external manifestation of a thing or an object or a matter. Just like sometimes we see that people have yeah, when they are born they have ears. The sense object is developed, but not the subtle sense object. So that's why they cannot hear. It is so subtle. So this is all again coming back when we refer back to Ayurveda. Ayurveda is in a position to say why. Um, I think it's called Vedic astro. No, there is a way to see. Okay, determine what is the birth chart telling why a person is uh, um, suffering with certain disease or certain limitation. Mhm. It is not by chance that someone is born blind or deaf. Mm. So, in that way, I mean, anyway, that's just an example to see how everything is so complete in Lord's creation. Absolutely. Right from a very, very subtle layer of covering uh, to the real essence of existence, who is the Supreme Lord Virat Rupa, in that way. I'll stop here. It's been quite a long chapter, which we broke it into pieces. But yeah, it can still go in a further detail, but I'm not capable of going in that depth. It would be just only reading from what Prabhupada said with not analytical understanding for myself. Yeah, but yeah, so the essence is what Prabhupada concludes in the last verse, that we only take support of these chapters to strengthen our spirit of devotion is the only way or the best way. Yeah, thank you. Anyone want to add anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's very informative chapter. One can
Yeah.
go on for a long time with this chapter. Prabhuji, we also heard that. I mean, earlier we have also heard that the Lord Shirodaksha Vishnu expands himself and enters into each atom and between the atoms. And we also
Hmm.
hear that in this chapter also we hear uh, matter, that is matter. Matter is dead. There is no life. So how do we understand that Shirodaksha is present even in matter, but there is no life. It is dead matter. I mean, a stone is dead. It cannot move. But Shirodaksha is also present there.
Yeah, so if you see, there is also this, if stone is only a dead matter, right? It's also growing, you know it? We see that, for example, the mountain was also growing. Yeah, we have this Himavan. For Himalayas, there is a lot of Himavan. There is for Vindhya. So everything there, it has on its uh, uh, a dweller, a person. Yeah. So in that way, we see that it's not like, okay, matter doesn't mean yeah, okay, it's not mm, pervaded by the Lord, because there is not even a small particle where the Lord is not there. Yeah, so the consciousness, when we talk about the Lord in the form of this expansion, He is prevailing everywhere. Yeah. If the Lord is prevailing in you, doesn't mean that yeah, you can also fly like a bird, right? Because the Lord is also present in the bird, so Lord is also present in me, so I should also be like a bird flying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
So
can say that,
Lord present in an atom doesn't mean that atom should activate itself. I don't know
okay,
if I answered your question. I mean,
so so can we say that the Lord is present in each atom, but in a very subtle consciousness, or there is no consciousness
there is
that
no consciousness of the object itself because there is no Jiva Tattva inside. Hmm? So if it is the property, the consciousness is the property of the Jiva, right?
yes, yeah,
Yeah. And uh, the essence of the Lord expanding in every particle is that nothing is beyond Him. That is the Purnamada Purnamidam. Yeah, when we take the understanding of this Ishopanishad. Huh? Yeah, correct. It means to say that everything is manifested from the Lord, which also includes atoms. And how it's functioning. Huh? Yeah, for example, maybe if you see the property of each an atom, it has its own property. That property is nothing but the Lord. Yeah, we see that He is present and defining a property or characteristics of everything. That's how His presence is felt. Hmm? The variegatedness of each and every atom.
yes, Guruji, right, yeah. I mean, if we study the electrons, photons, how they are working
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
that then we can
Hmm.
understand.
That energy is again, yeah, the Lord.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, you also mentioned we hear that when the child is born, the inner, the subtle, the ear is there, but the subtle
Mm-hmm.
element is not there. That's why the newborn child cannot hear. Is it like this?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So when a baby is born, he cannot hear at that time.
No,
After
no,
some
no.
time.
I'm not telling everyone. I'm telling only people who cannot hear.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
So
Yeah.
sometimes we see, na, I mean, we see that the organ is developed, but the sense is not developed. I don't know if you have seen. I mean, everyone is not everyone is born with all the senses working. Yeah, we have physically disabled or mentally challenged, and these are though the organs, external organs are manifested, why it's not working? Hmm? It's not working because, yeah, of this subtle organ. So it means that what is we think that it is the ear which is hearing, right? Yeah, when we are hearing, we think that it is the ear that is with the help of the ear we are hearing. No, it is the subtle element of the auditory. Shrotam. Yeah, that is the sense, subtle sense organ which is actually helping us. It is something like it is entering through this ear, but only through that sensory, subtle sensory organ of yeah, Shrotam, through which we are able to hear really. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. Thank you.
And then for each of such sense object, there is a preceding deity. Who is, it's something like, okay, uh, you are setting up a very nice program on a stage. Huh? There is sound department, right? Yeah. If some sound is not coming from a from a speaker, what you are doing, you'll ask the in charge, hey, can you please make sure that the sound is coming, right? So there is a department or there is a person who is responsible for that. So similarly, if ear is not working, yeah, of course we go definitely to the ENT specialist. But what can he do after certain things? He's only able to check at only a gross level. And he says, ah, no, he's deaf. Why? Because so and so thing. Okay. That's why we still have this practice that in the ancient or old temples, right? If you see some are worshipping, okay, for this, if you do this 13 weeks, 20 weeks, or whatever, then there is a chance that he can get hearing, or so many things are there. This is coming from the Virat understanding, Virat Roop understanding. Hmm? As I said, na, in Tirumala, in Tirupati Balaji Hundi, right? They put a small silver plates. They are sometimes made of leg. I mean, a shape of leg is on that, or eye is on that, or ear is on that. Yeah, Venimada Prabhu, you would have seen, na? There will be someone who is selling this outside.
Don't know, Prabhuji. I didn't observe that one.
Okay, you were thinking it's some lotteries. Yeah, the small box he will be keeping, and in that it will be a very thin sheets, very small thin sheets, and then it will have this body parts, and then there is a one full body, I mean complete body sheet also, and people usually take that, pray that, oh Lord, protect us from all, I mean all our organs, and they offer it to Balaji in the hundi. That is even little more matured than just worshipping in the Virat Roop level. Yeah. Any other questions?
Prabhuji, may I say some small comment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One time, I think around 70 years back, there was a yogi came to a village, and when there was a small boy in that village, so the father of that small boy told that take this yogi to show all our village and something like that one. So the boy was showed everything, and the boy took him to the temple. The yogi told that I don't come to this temple. He told that why? Because you are limiting the Lord presence in a idol. We are against to the idol worship. We see only Virat Roop. So the boy asked that if you feel that God is everywhere, why don't you think that God is also in the deity? So he shocked for that answer, and he entered to the temple and took the darshan of the Lord.
Yeah, very nice. Correct. And yeah, so another, I mean, analogy or a metaphor given can be given is that yeah, the sunlight is everywhere. Yeah, but to see, yeah, can we see the sunlight? No. Yeah. So when we take the light through the prism, then we are able to get the details of the Lord. Sorry, details of the sunlight, right? Otherwise, we are just thinking it's some, what is it called, white noise, white color, or but no, it's not that. There is a lot of detail inside. Huh? So that detail, one when puts through and sees through the prism, from the eye of a prism, yeah, then he can see it clearly. And Srila Prabhupada, I think, referred, I don't remember where exactly, he was giving this, that, um, yeah, because our senses and sense organs are not mature enough to see the Lord, transcendental form. Yeah. So he has manifested also in this form, yeah, in this form of a deity, and so that he is accessible also in this. We don't have to really become a perfect, get a right eyes, vision, and everything, then can see the Lord. No, he is so merciful that he is also manifesting. So the idea of, I mean, in extension to what you were saying, na, when Lord is present everywhere, why not in this idol, yeah, or in this deity form? No, he is present everywhere, but he is presenting himself so that we can worship in this form, yeah, and that is a unique facility. Yeah, so it's not like to like okay, Virat Roop and the deity are both are worshipable. Yeah, so one can choose whatever he want. It's not a matter of choice, because the higher understanding is that the Lord is transcendental, and Lord, our job, our purpose of existence is to worship the Lord, and there is this archanam. This is the process, and in that way, yeah, one is able to offer all the mm, services to the Lord in this. So the Lord is manifesting in this for our convenience, and also so nicely that He is non-different from His Murti. It's not like, okay, the Lord is somewhere and He's just uh, mm, filling a Murti with the energy. No, Lord is there, which means the Lord is also doing all leelas, which means He's waking up, He's sleeping, He's eating, fully functioning. Yeah. Very much, Prabhu. What do you say?
No, Prabhuji.
Huh? So there is still, I mean, one level is to understand that this whole creation is the Lord, and also He is also present in the Murti form. But our understanding should be even more refined, just like this white light and this uh, the colors, frequencies, or light frequencies, right? No, what do you say? Mm, yeah, I think light frequency, yeah, defines the color. Um, through that level, yeah, so that, okay, it's not just one, like he's just a rock, or he's just a water, or he's just a tree. No, yeah, he has a form, and we are offering services to each of best possible ways in this worship. Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu. Anyone else want to add? No, then we close the call. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
Krishna
विमल
Prabhuji.
प्रभु।
Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण कोमल प्रभु।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण।